remains of a cross associated with the island. However, following the excavation, what is thought to be a Saxon settlement up here, it is known to be a market place. Further along the coast, to my left, and south of it, a hospital shed brought here, struck rocks and sunk on the 30th of October 1914. Of the 229 aboard, 146 open nurses and Titanics are very ruins. Most of the 83 lost their lives in the disaster and are buried in the church. Navigators and explorers the world has ever known. In 3 voyages, Cook sailed thousands and thousands, largely on charted areas of the world. He achieved the first recorded European contact with the western coast of Australia and the Islands, and the first recorded communication with New Zealand. The road connecting the point is the Whitby, which was the centre of the world, essential for the shipbuilding trade. Just after Green Gate Hall in 1793 was to make the town famous. At the bottom of the hill to the north is Geology, which dates from AD 1318. It was originally divided into sections called Highgate, Crossgate, and Gargate. The latter being the cobbled area leading to the bottom of the 199 steps. Right-hand side of the road is a raised footpath, part of one of the old monks' troughs built by the monks of the Pavilion. From the time of the dissolution of the monastery in 1936, as the monks were able to escape home into the forest. Some contributions of the monastery built in 1980, it carries the A171 traffic past the town centre. But at a slower pace, please have your cameras ready for a great photo opportunity. To your left, you get a glimpse of the open countryside on the edge of the North Culture Moors National Park. On the right is a great view along the River Esk towards the town, harbour and the North Sea. You are lucky to see a steam track on the North Yorkshire Moors Railway below the bridge. hurricane pilot who shot it down on the 3rd of February 1940 was Flight Lieutenant Peter Townsend, who later went on to become personal attendant to King George VI and Queen Elizabeth II. Our date Peter's mind. Powerful ships were made of ballast tanks. Ships which left Whitby fully loaded needed to be filled with ballast to ensure a safe return. The ballast tanks were pale green bricks made in the Baltic. Instead of just discarding them on their return, the bricks would be sold cheaply to local builders and used in the building of houses such as these. So because farmers would run down the economies as we turn to back rail, passengers seated upstairs need to be aware that there might be some overhanging branches along this road. Back rail was originally called Beck because of the beck or small river which ran this way. In fact, it still flows beneath the road. On the left over the high wall is the Quakers' graveyard, consecrated in 1659. More people buried there than you might think, because the Quakers were not keen on using headstones. Straight ahead on the red brick building is the coat of arms of Whitby, a shield with 3 ammonites. Legend tells us that St. Hilda found it there, chased through snakes and was then covered and turned into stone. On the right, Bagdale Hall, built as a Tudor mansion in 1560, was now a hotel restaurant. When it was first built, Bagdale Hall was surrounded by green fields and bordered on one side by Bagdale Beck, which still runs beneath us. The hall passed through several hands, including James Conyers, who was appointed Sergeant of Arms to Henry VIII, and Captain Brown Busher, who fought for the parliamentarians in the Civil War. The hall is said to be the most haunted building in Whitby. To the left is a main court, so called because of the proximity of the Roman Catholic Church, the Evangelical Church, and at one time the Methodist Church. Ahead on the right, the letters LNER in the front of the station are a reminder of one of the old railway companies of the past, and now present, the London and North Eastern Railways. In the early days, the passengers nicknamed it the Late Never Early Railway.
Whitby Station is on the Esk-bound line, a route which takes you to and from Middlesbrough through some of the most stunning scenery, and is regularly named as one of the most scenic railways in the UK. In 2007, the North Yorkshire Horse Railway began operating a steam locomotive service between Pickering and Whitby.
Across the boardwalk is a wooden sculpture of 2 building above it. It's a reminder that it was in this area most of the ships were built, and when Captain ships were built. Just beyond the sculpture, on the other side of the River Esk, you can see Cargill Engineering, where many fishing vessels are built, thus continuing Whitby's tradition as a shipbuilding town. Any boats which bear the lettering WY are those that are registered here in Whitby. Left, across the railway tracks, is old engine shed, or which may consisted of signal boxes, turning table, gun sheds and carriage sidings. The engine shed was extended in 1868 to accommodate more locomotives. Its fate has been uncertain for many years. Welcome aboard. I'm looking forward to sharing a story or two with you as we travel around Whitby. Just ahead to the right of Station End is Loggerhead's Yard. Loggerhead is another word for the figurehead of a ship. Some vessels are found to be involved in smuggling, which are broken up on their figureheads or loggerheads on display. As we turn right at the roundabout, you'll see to the left the award-winning Trencher's Seafood Restaurant, one of many establishments in the town where you can enjoy the taste of fresh fish. Key Road, which we're turning into, dates from the 1920s. Old timber riverside quays were demolished. Ahead on your left, the Angel Hotel, now owned by Wetherspoons, was once a coach inn on a long journey to London. Royal Mail Coach to York operated from the Angel since its inception in 1795. There was also entrepreneur George Hudson and the inventor George Stephenson who met to discuss bringing the railways to Whitby. We are now on St Anne's Staithe. Staithe is the Norse word for harbour. St Anne's Line, which runs between St Anne's Staithe and the end of Falmouth, was formerly called Hell's Lane, probably because of its steepness. On the other side of the river, over to the right, is Whitby's lifeboat station. And if nobody is in trouble out at sea, you'll be able to see the orange lifeboat moored just beneath it. Just ahead of us lies Marine Parade, which was built by the Victorians so that they could promenade along the water's edge. In earlier times, they would have had to walk up Haggard's Gate, which is Norse for Twisted Road. On the left, as we turn into the narrow Haggard's Gate, look out for the large Georgian mansion built in 1817 for the Reynolds family. Like many of the houses around here, it was built on a sound family supported by parliaments. It became addition to Steel in 1877. Hill Road was originally built about 1875 over the sandy banks of the river. Prior to this time, the crag was the only way from the town to the shore. The new buildings to the left are in fact new frontages, built after that time onto the backs of the Riverside buildings, which originally faced onto the crag. Coming up on the left, the award-winning Quayside Restaurant was once a public bathhouse, museum and a library. In the late 1890s, it said Bram Stoker carried out research for the graphic novel Whitby in the first floor lab. Ahead on the left, the building with the large bay windows is the popular Whitby Abbey. Built in 1750 as a merchant's house, it was later used as a pilot's office. The pilot had an excellent view of any activity in the harbour and on the river Esk. In a building which served as a double boathouse for carrying the line between 1895 and 1957. The museum now has rolled by boat used in collections to Robert and Anna Dobson. This was used in many restaurants. We will soon be reaching our next stop where we take a short break. You can right, beach, the pier and the lighthouse. Or alternatively, you can stay on the bus and enjoy the rest of the tour. If you're leaving using this stop, please remember to take all your belongings with you, including any children. Whitby has the only natural habitat. As we set off, we'll go up the exotically named Khyber Pass, a road forged into the cliffside in 1848 by the railway king George Hudson. Following the decline of the whaling industry in the early 1800s, Hudson planned to revitalise Whitby as a seaside resort. He began by buying up all the land on the West Cliff, where he began to build hotels, including the Royal. The Khyber Pass was used to transport the building materials, which had arrived by sea, all the way up to Westcliff. When the building work was finished, it provided a good route down to the town for the holidaymakers staying at the hotels above. Ahead, on the left, the little tunnel called Hudson's Folly was built in the form of a miniature railway tunnel at the request of George Hudson, simply to make his mark. There's no railway running along it, but if you walk to the other end, you'll be rewarded with a lovely view of the town. Coming up on the left is the only house on the Khyber Pass, called Strenshaw, which is what Whitby was called from AD 657 until the Vikings arrived in AD 867 and renamed the settlement Whitby from the Old Norse for White Settlement. The yellow building is the La Rosa Hotel, which has a blue plaque saying that Lewis Carroll, the author of Alice in Wonderland and Alice Through the Looking Glass, stayed there occasionally. It was while on the beach in Whitby that Lewis Carroll wrote the famous poem, The Walrus and the Carpenter. We'll soon be approaching the Royal Hotel stop. You may jump ship here for the Royal Hotel, Whale Bones, the Captain Cook statue and Westcliff area, offering superb views of the Abbey ruins. Just ahead on the right is the Whitby Pavilion, built in 1870, where you can see the latest films as well as enjoy live theatre and music. It's also a venue for conferences and special occasions such as weddings. To the left is Whitby's Royal Crescent. It should have been a half circle of Georgian-style dwellings to rival Bath. But unfortunately, George Hudson, the railway king, who was building them, was not a completely honest man. His business dealings were investigated, which forced him into hiding. The crescent was never completed, and still stands today with only half its property built. Number 6, on the left-hand side, is where Bram Stoker had his first holiday in Whitby in 1890. To the right, the cliff lift will take you with ease down the 120-foot cliff to the beach. At low tide, you can walk all the way along the beach from Whitby's West Pier to Sunset. It's a distance of just under 3 miles there and back. Our next stop is for the boating lake, mini golf, skate park, leisure centre and the cliff lift to the beach. When leaving the bus, please remember to take all your belongings with you, including grandma. right as we turn into Argyle Road, you'll see a large building which was formerly the Metropole Hotel. When it was built in 1898, it was the first iron-framed building in Whitby, and the first in the town to have electricity. Although it's since been converted into luxury flats, the original Victorian ballroom has been preserved. Looking down Ladysmith Avenue on the right is the Saxonville Hotel, home for about 6 years to the writer Margaret Storm Jameson. At the far end you'll see the grandstand of Whitby Town Football Club, who are also known as the Seasiders. Just before we turn left at the roundabout, take a look straight ahead down Station Avenue. At the end you'll see a low red brick building which was once Westcliff Station. The last trains ran along the line from Middlesbrough to Scarborough in May 1958. The buildings are now used as private housing. Ahead on the right are 2 3-storey houses. The long bottle-shaped window in each house manages to give light to 3 floors, yet remaining 1 window. In 1796, the government of William Pitt brought out a tax on the number of windows you could have, showing that stealth taxes are no new thing. People who couldn't afford to pay the tax, or those who preferred not to, tended to brick their windows on. There were, however, ways of getting round the tax, as demonstrated by these 2 houses. The next stop is for Panet Park, where you can alight for the excellent children's playground, the Panet Art Gallery, Whitby Museum and the Leisure Centre. When leaving the bus, please remember to take all your belongings with you. As we go round the roundabout, we'll travel down Chubb Hill Road, built in 1886, and on the left is Panet Park. Panet Park is named after Robert Elliott Panet, a solicitor who served the town as a councillor, alderman and justice of the peace, as well as supporting many charities. He bought Chubb Hill Estate, which was then Market Gardens, and arranged in his will for it to become the public park it is today. He also had provision for the building to be erected there and to house his collection of art. Coming up on the left, look out for Whitby's floral clock, originally installed in 1953 to mark the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II. After a while, it became a normal flowerbed. But in 2006, the Friends of Panet Park raised enough money to have the clock reinstated. On the corner to your right is Arundel House Hotel. This was owned by many generations of the shipbuilding family, the Campions. Sail-making and rope-making were essential industries within the shipbuilding trade in the 1800s. On the left-hand side of Arundel House, there's a little road leading to a tunnel, which is an area once known for its sail-making. We're now heading up Prospect Hill. Please be aware of the low branches if you're sitting upstairs. The original owners of the large houses on the right would have enjoyed an excellent view or prospect of Whitby. In the last garden on the right before the junction stands a Chilean pine tree, more commonly known as a monkey puzzle. The mineral jet comes from the fossilised remains of the tree. Jet, once the centre of a big industry in Whitby in the 19th century, can be found along the coast near to Whitby. soon be approaching New Bridge, where there's a great view of the town on your left. We cannot stop on the bridge, but we'll go as slow as we can, so please have your cameras on. You'll be able to take in the view along the Riverside towards the harbour and the North Sea. Towering over it all are the ruins of the Abbey. Below, on the left, the flats occupy the site of the Whitehall shipyards, which closed in 1902. As steamships were getting larger during the late 19th century, it was getting harder to transport the steel needed to build them in Whitby. We're turning left into an area called Gallows Close, an area once used as a place of public execution. The bodies of the condemned would not be taken down in a hurry, in the hope that the sight of their fate would deter other potential criminals. Coming up on the left, the white building is Whitehall, the old residence of the Turnbull shipbuilding family. The Turnbulls could look from their front window to the shipyard below. During the Second World War, the house became a school until it was shut in 1985. We're about to cross Spittal Bridge, built in the 1930s. The original bridge is on the left. It was named after a leper isolation hospital which stood nearby from 1109 to 1539. This point is thought to have been the first landing place of the Saxons who settled here. During World War II, the bridge's arches were used as air raid shelters. We're now commencing the steep climb up Green Lane. Please be aware of low branches if you're sitting upstairs. Green Lane was known locally at one time as Curse Road or Corpse Road. It was the route taken by the rich to get to the church graveyard in horse-drawn carriages. The Tour de Yorkshire cycle was also passed along this route. Whitby Regatta is one of the oldest sea regattas in the country. It's been entertaining crowds for over 170 years. Regatta Weekend runs annually in August and includes yacht racing, rowing races, street stalls and entertainment. Whitby Goth Weekend, started in 1994, has grown into one of the world's premier goth events and brings thousands of people to the town in April and October. The main music events and trade stalls take place in the Whitby Spa Pavilion. We are now approaching Whitby Abbey, first founded by King Oswy of Northumbria in AD 657 as a monastery for men and women. It was here in AD 664 that a meeting took place between the synod and opposing parties. At the meeting, many religious decisions were made, including the fixing of the date of Easter. In about AD 867, the abbey was ransacked and almost completely destroyed by Vikings. It wasn't until around 1070 that the Normans established a monastic community. The remains that you can see mostly date from a later building, erected in about 1220. Like most monastic establishments in the country, Whitby Abbey was dissolved by Henry VIII in 1539. It then passed into the hands of the Chumley family and gradually fell into disrepair, battered by the weather over the centuries, even suffering direct hits from the German Navy in the First World War. Since 1984, the Abbey has been in the care of English Heritage. Abbey House, the large building to the left of the Abbey, was built by the Chumley family using stones from the Abbey. It's now a modern Whitby Youth Hostel. A tea room is run behind the nearby Abbey Visitor Centre, which houses an interactive exhibition and audio guides are available. Please alight here for the Abbey Ruins and Visitor Centre, St Mary's Church and the Youth Hostel. Please remember to take all your belongings with you. Ahead of us stands St Mary's Church,